how are you all? Welcome to your channel, Mary Tajitos. I'm Mary, and it's a pleasure for me to share a new tutorial with you. In this class, I'm bringing you the step-by-step instructions for this beautiful coin purse style bag. Look how beautiful it is. We're going to be making it using single crochet, and we'll also be creating the square base. Look how pretty it is. It's a quick and very easy base to make. We're going to be adding the clasp closure in a golden tone, which gives it that classic and elegant touch that never goes out of style. I'm going to show you how spacious it is inside. Look how delicate and beautiful it is. Here, the closure looks very pretty. The unique touch that the pearl handle gives it. Honestly, it's an elegant, beautiful design. I hope you enjoy the whole process and put it into practice. If that's the case, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. Let's move on to the list of materials, followed by the step-by-step process. We'll be working on this project with the following materials. You can get this at your online store, Tucson Sumos. In the video description, I'll leave you the link to their shopping page. We will be using nylon and a needle. This is gauge 30, scissors, measuring tape, a 3.5mm knitting needle, this will be our main needle, and a 2.5mm knitting needle, which we will use to hide threads. A clasp, 80 centimeters of chain, this one is aluminum and it already has its ring on the ends. A pearl handle that is 25 centimeters long. You can make this yourself at home and use whatever size pearls you like. A personalized plate with the channel's name. This one is optional. A golden clasp. This one is 10 centimeters long. And here, look, it comes with spaces for sewing. We will be working with a roll of satin cord, also known as mouse tail or rat tail cord. This one is 2 millimeters thick and is a pink color, number 134. The roll comes with 144 yards. We won't be using all of it. In the video description, I'll leave the amount of material we'll be using. We make a slip knot. We'll crochet 10 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do one more, and this will be our height point. Now we're going to work single crochets, and we'll do these on the back of the chain, where the bumps are. We insert the hook under the second bump, because the first one is our height point. Here, we'll make the stitches, one under each bump until we reach the last one. We insert the hook under the second bump. We yarn over, bring it forward, and raise it to the level of the loop that's on the hook. We yarn over here and close the stitch. We go under the next one. And here we make the second stitch. We reach the last little bump, go underneath, and make a single crochet here. We finish this first round, and here we have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We make a turning chain. We turn the piece, and we're going to work the second row, inserting the hook under the entire chain. Here. We go under the second one, over here on this side. We start the first stitch here, underneath the next one. We work the stitches this way until we reach the last chain. We reach the last chain, go underneath it, and make the stitch here. We finish the second row and continue working with 10 single crochets. Here we make a turning chain and turn the piece. This is the whole process we're going to do. We pass the needle under the second chain and make a single crochet here. Under the next one, here we finish the last stitch. We make a turning chain, and here we finish the third row. This is the whole process. We turn the piece and continue working single crochet under each chain until we reach row number 9. I've already completed the 9 rows. Look at how the piece is turning out. This will be the base of our bag. See how it's a simple base and very easy to make. I'll show you how to identify each row. Watch this. Here, where the stitches are, is the first row, and just above, where there's a ridge with 2 strands below, is the second row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's place the piece here on the clasp so you can follow along. In case you get a larger clasp, you'll know how to size the piece. We place it in the center and see how the piece doesn't go past the edge of the clasp. It stays right in the middle. Even if we have these gaps, don't worry. As we keep crocheting, the opening of the bag will end up the same size as the clasp. The important thing is that when making the stitches or working on the base, it doesn't stick out. If you get a bigger one, you need to adjust the size of the piece to the size of the clasp, and it should look something like this. To give this base the final touch, we're going to do a round of single crochet, and here at the corners, we'll make an increase of 3 stitches. So we position ourselves at the last stitch of round number 9, and we make a turning chain. And here in this stitch, we're going to work a single crochet. Look, here we insert the needle. Here at the last stitch. We make the first stitch of the round here and place a marker, so we know that's where we start. We're going to work single crochet. We insert the hook here, where the little ridge is. And here we can see 2 strands. We insert the hook under both of them. Here, the next one goes under the ridge, under the 2 strands, under the little ridge. Like this, until we reach the last one. We go under the little ridge. And we make a stitch under the 2 strands. Under the little ridge. Here we finish the stitches, making 8 in total, not counting the one with the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to work on this side, and here in this first chain, we'll make the increase of 3 stitches. Here. We pass the needle under the chain, adjust it very well here, and take the opportunity to hide the yarn. We raise it to the level of the little loop that's on the hook, yarn over, and close the stitch. That's one. We go again. We make the second stitch here. We pass the needle through again and complete the third stitch. We pass the needle under the next chain and make simple stitches here. Under the next one. We reach the last chain, and here we're going to make a triple increase, just like we did here in the first stitch. Notice that we're working the increases here at the top, where the chains are. Here in the first stitch, we made the triple increase, and here at the end, we finish with the triple increase. Here in the center, we make 8 single stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We work the increase here, we go underneath. We make the first stitch, raising it to the height of the little ear that's on the hook. We go through again. We raise it, make the second stitch, and here. Now we complete the third stitch. On this side, we're going to work 8 stitches. We pass the needle through. Look over here, where we made the stitch before the increases. We use that as a guide and make that stitch here, in this space. Here we make 1. Under the 2 strands, the next one. Look, there's the ridge. We go underneath. Here, under the 2 strands. Here, the little ridge. We make the stitch underneath. Then we pass the first one here. The next one goes under the 2 strands. Look, here is the little ridge. We go underneath. Underneath the 2 strands. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the same number of stitches we made on this side, so now we're going to do the last stitches. We pass the needle under the first chain on this side. Look here. Here we work the increase of 3 stitches. We pass the needle, and here we make the first stitch. We pass it again. The second one, and the third point. We make a stitch here under each chain until we reach this last one. We get to the last stitch. Look, it's the stitch where we made the first stitch of the round, where we placed the marker. Here on this side, we work 8 stitches after the increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to insert the needle here, where the first stitch is. And we make a stitch there. We're going to close this round. We cut the yarn. We pull out the little loop here. And we remove the marker here. Right where the marker is, we're going to insert the needle from back to front. Look, here we have the first stitch, and here we have the last stitch we made. We have 2 increased stitches in the corner. To make the third one, we're going to close it. We pass the yarn to the back. insert the needle into the last stitch's center. We pick up the yarn and take it to the back. We tighten here. Look, the stitch is the same size as the others. And here we already have the 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. We finish our base here. We're going to hide this strand under the stitches, using a thinner needle to help us. Here, we carefully pass it underneath. We remove the excess here. We'll use the lighter to burn the tip. This way, we're going to hide the threads throughout this whole project. And at the end, we should always burn the tip so it doesn't come loose. We've finished the base. This is the whole process we're going to do. When you finish, arrange it well so the stitches get organized. Here we finish with a total of 44 stitches. I'm going to give you the measurements. It's 8 centimeters long. The height is 7.5 centimeters. Let's see how the base fits on our clasp. We place it on top and notice that the corners don't stick out past the edge. Look how it looks. This is how it should turn out. Regardless of the size of the clasp, now we're going to work on the body of the bag, and as we go up, it will take on the oval shape that our clasp requires. We're going to do this first round going up with single crochet stitches, simple, without any increases. We take our base with the right side facing down. Make sure that the side where the stitches are reversed is facing up. You can start on any side here. I'm going to start here, on this one. We're going to insert the needle into the center of the chain, picking up the top loop and the little bump that's on the back of the stitch. Here we go through the center, picking up the top loop and the little bump that's on the back. This one. This small bump here. We're going to do it this way to give more strength to this first round and also to separate the base from the body of the bag. With this strand in the center, we pass the needle through the center of the chain and also through the little bump that's on the back. We yarn over, leaving a little piece to hide under the stitches. Lift up this little loop, yarn over, and close. Here we make the first stitch. Pass the needle through the center of the next chain and through the small bump in the back. We have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and close. Pass through the center of the next chain and under the little bump. Under the next one, notice that we've also been hiding the leftover yarn. Under the next one, we go through the center and back on the little hill. We raise it to the level of the little ear that's on the crochet hook and close the stitch. Here's how our stitches look. We are working one stitch in the center of each chain. We continue working all along the edge without making any increases until we reach this last chain again. Let's make the last stitch. We go through the center of the chain and under the little ridge. Yarn over. Lift to match the little loop's height on the hook. Yarn over again and close the stitch. We finish the first row here and look how it's turning out. Here we don't work any increases. We make a total of 44 stitches, the same number of stitches we finished the edge of the base with. So look, here we've separated the base from the body of the bag with this strand that was left in the middle. We're going to close the round, lift up this little loop, and go under the first complete chain, right here on this side. We pass the strand through. To the back. This is how the closure looks. Let's start the second round, and here is where the stitch pattern we'll use for the body of the bag begins. This will be with simple single crochet, but what will change is the way each stitch will start. We're going to work here, starting the second round. And look, here we have two strands. With the little ear that we brought back, we're going to pass the needle through the center of the two strands from back to front. We turn, place the little ear on the hook, adjust here, yarn over, and pull through both. Here we make a single crochet. Notice that this strand stays in the center. Now we're going to work a single crochet, but this time we're not going to do it in the center of the stitch. Instead, we're going to insert the needle at the base. Here. See, this is the base of the stitch. We're going to go through here, where the next single crochet starts, right here. The next stitch we make in the center of the chain, taking only the top loop. The next one at the base. This is how we're going to combine the way we make the stitch. When we finish, we'll have a single crochet, but a long single crochet. So now we insert the needle at the base of the next stitch. Here, look where it starts. We insert the needle in that space. We always lift it up to the level of the little loop that's on the hook. Yarn over and close, then adjust the stitch well. And look, here we have a long single crochet and we started with a short single crochet. We do it in the next one. In the center of the chain, there we are not going to take the back loop, just the chain of the stitch here. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and close the stitch. We have a short stitch, a long stitch, a short stitch, and in the next one we make a long stitch. We go down to the next stitch. Look, the chain below, at the base. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You always have to pull up the loop to the level of the little ear that's on the hook, so that all your stitches come out even. Here we close. So we continue the sequence. Now comes a single crochet in the center of the chain. Long stitch at the base of the next stitch. Single crochet in the chain center. Long stitch. Single crochet. This is the sequence we're going to follow. Single crochet, long stitch, single crochet, long stitch. We keep working single crochet, long stitch, long stitch all along the edge until we reach this last stitch, which should be a long stitch. So we keep working. In the next long stitch, now we're going to make the last 2 stitches. In this one, we'll do a short stitch. We go through the center of the chain and make the stitch, and in the last one, we'll make a long stitch. We go through the base, and here we complete the stitch. We finish this second round and look how the stitch pattern is coming along. Right now, you can't see it very well, but as we keep working, you'll see how beautiful it turns out. So here, we're going to close the round, chain up, and insert the hook under the first complete chain. Look, it's this one. We bring the yarn to the back, tighten it very well. So look here, the closing fit perfectly with the sequence. The last stitch was a long stitch, and the first one we made was a short stitch. So we alternated long stitch, short stitch, long stitch, short stitch all around the edge until we finished the round. Now we're going to start the third round. We continue working with the same stitch pattern, but here we're going to alternate it. That means in one round we start with a short stitch, and in the next we start with a long stitch. In the second round, we started with a short stitch, and in this third one, we're going to start with a long stitch. So, since we're going to open here, we're no longer going to pass the needle through the center of the 2 strands, but instead, we're going to pass it under this strand here. See how we have a strand left here? We go underneath. We tighten this little loop very well, so it's nice and short. Here, as short as possible. We set a little aside, yarn over, bring it forward, and here we add height, place the reserved yarn on the needle, yarn over, and pull through both. See, here we've made our long stitch. Now we keep working short stitches in the center of the chain, on top of the long stitch. And here, where the short stitch from the previous row is, we're going to make the long stitch. Insert the needle. See, here we have the short stitch, and under the stitch there's the strand. Look here, and at this one, look here. First, locate where the strand is that sits under the short stitch. So, under that strand, here we're going to make the next stitch, which is going to be a long stitch. We go beneath the strand. And here we lift up and make the long stitch. In the center of the next chain, on top of the long stitch, we make a short stitch. So you see it's the same sequence, but here we're combining the beginning. In one row, we start with a short stitch, in the next with a long stitch, and we make a different stitch on top of the previous one. So here in the previous row, we have a short stitch. We go under the strand. And we make the long stitch there. In the center of the next chain, and here where the long stitch is, we make the short one. This is the combination we'll follow. We place the yarn. Underneath, we make the long stitch. In the center of the chain, on top of the long stitch, we make the short one. We've reached the last stitch. Look, the stitch below is a long stitch. We go here. In the center of the chain, we make a short stitch. This is how we end round 3. And look how this pattern is turning out. And how the piece is looking. Whenever you finish a round, make sure to arrange the stitches like this so they settle into place. Now we're going to finish off this 3rd round. See, it's just like the others. We insert the needle into the center of the first complete chain stitch. Look, in this case, it's this one. We place the reserved yarn and pull it to the back. Here, to start the round, we need to keep in mind which stitch we finished the previous round with. If we finished the previous round with a long stitch, we should start the next round with a short stitch. If we finished it with a short stitch, we start with a long stitch. So here, notice that the previous one was a long stitch, which means we should start this round with a short stitch. We pass the needle through the center of the strand that we brought to the back. Notice that we do it from back to front. We turn here and place the reserved loop on the needle. We tighten. We yarn over and make the first stitch here. We have the short stitch, and in the next one, look, it's also a short stitch, but here we need to make a long stitch. We start with a short stitch, make a long stitch in the next one, and go under the yarn. We give it height, and we close the stitch. The next one. Look, this is a long stitch. On top, we make a short stitch. So, see how we combine both stitches like this. Short stitch. Now comes a long stitch. We make a short one. And the next one is long. We make the last stitch here. We go under the thread and make a long stitch. We make the closure. We finish the 4th round and we can already see the stitch pattern better. Look how it's turning out. How the piece looks on the inside, and see how beautiful the combination is. Here, we're going to start round number 5 now, following the same process, always keeping in mind the stitch we finished the previous round with. In this case, it was a short stitch, which means we should start with a long stitch. And look here at how we've made the joins, so that there are no visible scars on the outside. So now we open with a long stitch. We pass the needle under the thread. Look, here, it stays underneath. We tighten this one so it's nice and short. We take the yarn here. We lift it up and place the reserved loop on the needle. This is how it should look. We take the yarn and pull it through both. We open the first stitch of row number 5. We have a long one, and we make a short one in the next. Next, make a long stitch by going under the yarn. We continue working, following the sequins all along the edge until we reach this last stitch. Complete round number 5. I finished here with a single crochet. Now let's close it up. This is the same one we're going to do in every round. What will change is the way you start, depending on the stitch you're going to begin with. In this case, you always have to keep the previous stitch in mind. Here we would make a short stitch, then continue with a long stitch, short stitch, long stitch, short stitch. We close the sequence, and the next round we would start with a long stitch. Then we continue with long stitch, long stitch, and so on until we finish the rounds. In this way, we are going to work the rounds following the corresponding stitch pattern until we reach a height of about 11 or 12 centimeters. It also depends on the length you want to give it. I'm going to keep working, and I'll show you the height I'm going to reach. I've already finished the height of the piece. I worked a total of 18 rounds here. And look, now we can better appreciate the stitch pattern. Look at how the long stitches look, all very pretty and well organized. On the inside, see how the piece looks, quite spacious. And look at how the base turned out, very firm and structured. Here, I'm going to show you how to identify each round. You start here at the first stitch. See how you can spot the small single crochet. This is the first round, and here the long stitch is the second round. Here, we're going to count in a zigzag pattern, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 rounds. If you want to make the piece a little taller, keep working the rounds following the stitch pattern. In height, the piece ended up being 11 centimeters tall. Let's measure the clasp on the piece. We place it on top. And look, it's the same size. We don't have any extra or missing space. If, when you finish the piece, you see that it's bigger than the clasp, that there's some extra space sticking out like this, don't worry. You don't need to undo the piece. What you should do is work 2 or 3 rounds of slip stitch to gradually close the opening of the bag so it fits the size of the clasp. This way, you'll be able to continue your work perfectly without having to undo the piece. I'm going to work 1 round of slip stitch without tightening the stitches, just to give the piece a better finish. So here, we'll put ourselves in the last stitch here. Here, where we made the closure, we're going to do it like this. We go to the first complete chain. Look, here. We go through the center, yarn over. We have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to slip the first one into the one we already had. Like this. Here we've made the first stitch, here. The first slip stitch. So we go here into the center of the next chain, yarn over, and here we slip into the center of the next one without tightening the stitches. Because we don't want to decrease the size of the opening of the piece, we just want to give it a better finish. So always keep the height at the level of the little loop that's on the hook, so the opening stays the same size. We reach the last stitch, go through the center, and make a slip stitch. Here we cut the yarn, pull it out, and we're going to finish off. Passing the needle under the first chain, look here, right here, from the side. We grab the yarn, and we go backwards. We pass the needle again through the center of the last chain. From back to front, we grab the yarn, and here we pull it through. We adjust the chain very well, making sure it's the same size as the others, and look how it looks. Now, the end of the round. We're going to hide this leftover strand under the stitches, just like we did before. I finished hiding the strand under the stitches. When done, remember to burn the tip. And that's how our round of slip stitches turned out. Look how it looks here. I'll take this opportunity to show you the end of each round. See how you can't even notice it. It blends well with the other stitches. We arranged the piece very well. Here we locate the center. Here we're going to place some pieces of fabric yarn. Make sure they're well centered. Now we're going to place the clasp with the dots facing down. And it has a space. Look here. This space is where the fabric yarn will go in to sew it. So we position the clasp with the openings where the markers are, putting the mouth inside the clasp. Like this. Just like that. We're going to start putting the stitches inside the space of the clasp. We can use a small spatula to help. This is how it should look. I've already tucked all the cord inside the clasp. Look at how it looks on the bottom. Let's start sewing. I'm going to use nylon and a needle, but you can use thread that matches the color of your material. We're going to pass the needle through here. Look, where we have these little ridges, right here. We start on the inside, pass it through, and it should come out here in the first little hole right after the zipper. We pass the needle through the next hole. It should appear here, centered between the two small ridges. We tighten the thread very well and pass the needle again through the previous space. We always go forward and then go back to secure the stitch very well. So here we go back and come out here. In the second little hole, we tighten it securely and move to the next one. Whenever you sew, make sure to tighten the thread very well. Now we go back. We exit through the same small hole. We use tweezers to help ourselves. We adjust it very well. And here we move on to the next little hole, the one in front. We come out there in the middle of the little hill. Here we go back and come out at the little hole where we just passed a moment ago. But look, leave a space so you can secure the seam. We move on to the next one. Here we go back and come out in the same space. Here, we move on to the next one. If you see that the thread is coming out, here you put it back in again. I finished the stitching on this side, and this is how it looks on the bottom. Here is the last space. We can now remove the yarn here. And here, where the closure is, we're not going to cut the thread, but instead we pass it under that stitch. And here we come out at the first one, on the other side. We cut very well and move on to the next one. I'm going to continue sewing until I get here, where we left the reserved yarn. Here, at the first stitch. I finished the seam. Look how this side looks. Here, what I did was continue the seam until I got here to the yarn we left reserved. Here's what we'll do. Cut. And we're going to secure these two ends. We tighten it securely here. We take the strands. We bring them forward. We hide them under the stitches. We cut the ends here and secure them here. We finish the stitching. This is how our piece turned out. Let's arrange the bag nicely. And here I close it. Look how beautiful it looks. This is how the seam looks, and I like the edge that stays out here. Look how pretty it is. The base, how it looks. Look at what a beautiful result. Now, let's put on the little sleeve. Open here, and we're going to place it down here. You're going to count 1, and here on the second. On this side, 1, and on the second place. We close it. We finish the whole process, and this would be the final result. Look how beautiful it is. Look at the details, the stitch finish, how this wallet-style coin purse turns out so pretty. I'm going to give you the measurements. The height is 12 centimeters, and the width, 15 centimeters. The little purse with the hardware ended up weighing 195 grams. Honestly, it's pretty light. And from the roll, I only used half. Look at how much is left. That means you can make about 2 purses from 1 roll. We can carry it by hand, and look, it doesn't twist. And even hands-free, it doesn't twist either. We've reached the end of the class. I hope you enjoyed the whole process and that you put it into practice. If so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a token of appreciation. And with this tutorial, we say goodbye to 2025, giving thanks to God and to you for your support, wishing you a happy end of the year and a prosperous new year. See you in 2026 with many more tutorials. May God bless you all. Bye.